Employees and the fire department were concerned the containers would ignite and explode.
Basically, what's in there is highly explosive, acetylene, oxygen, xylene. The paint itself is very flammable.
If we couldn't have got at the fire right away, then we'd have assessed the wind conditions and what we had, and we'd have done some evacuations.
Star Metal employees have been trained in emergency procedures, and they tried to extinguish the fire. When that failed, they got out and warned people in adjoining buildings. Fire Chief Dave Fields applauds his crew's fast response in containing the fire.
The only way you can really get at these fires is get inside and knock them down, and the crews did that. It gets a little dangerous after it gets a little hot with all the products that you have in these places, but again, because of their quick knockdown, we didn't have an explosion.
Now, just a little while ago, the fire department wrapped up their investigation for the day. Earlier, the chief told us that he believed the cause was accidental, and the fire started either from a stray spark or when a hot weld point met the painting process. Andrea Case reporting live from Eugenie and McDougall. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Andrea.
A disastrous turn this morning in Windsor. It happened at the Star Metal manufacturing plant, where there are plenty of toxic chemicals on hand. Our coverage begins with Bob Weirs.
Initiating 3-alarm procedure.
Roger. 3-alarm.
Two-thirds of the city's fire department was called to the blaze at Star Metal on McDougall Avenue. 30 firefighters, 10 trucks.
Rescue 6, locate just behind Rescue 4.
First crews on the scene made the difference.
They got a hold of the foreman right away and found out where all the combustible gases were. We sent a crew down to the unburned section to drive the fire back, so to protect those sections of the building that were unburnt, and put a crew right into the fire area. They found the fire, luckily, right away, hit it, and that was the seat of the fire, and it went out.
As the crews dressed to fight the chemicals, the real danger was the chance of an explosion.
We wanted to know where the oxygen and the acetylene was so we can cool it down. That's why the snorkel was put up. If we had to pull out fire crews and go to a defensive action, that was certainly going to be our main tool.
It wasn't needed. In the end, damage to Star Metals was slight.
Hopefully we'll get it back next week, but there's no damage here that can't be fixed almost overnight.
But smoke damage to a furniture factory next door may be in the thousands of dollars.
I'm really upset about my customers because we have the Christmas rush on right now, and to get them all out, we really have to work hard, and now I don't know how we're going to do it.
Chief Fields says the fire was accidental, probably caused by a spark or a hot weld that ignited a tank of solvent used to make steel racks for car engine assembly. Bob Weirs, CBC News, Windsor.
This morning's blaze had about as happy an ending as you can get when chemicals are involved.
It gets a little dangerous after it gets a little hot with all the products that you have in these places, but again, because of their quick knockdown, we didn't have an explosion.
A dangerous business can become deadly in a split second, and for firefighters who already have a great deal to think about, a potential explosion adds a whole other dimension and extends the risk beyond their own ranks.
If we couldn't have got at the fire right away, then we'd have assessed the wind conditions and what we had, and we'd have done some evacuation.
Just letting you know, we're wrapping up down here.
Ministry of the Environment dispatched one of its investigators to the scene, but he was on his way in less than an hour.
And there was a paint spray booth in one of them that caught fire, I guess, with not much solvent back there.
However, firefighters did discover a 50-gallon drum of xylene that could have blown sky high if the fire had reached it. They wrestled it out of the building and hosed it down. They also found it was leaking.
Yes, a small amount. We've got it contained, and that's why we want to put it in and seal it up again so that we won't lose any more.
They were able to drain it into an empty drum. Ministry of Environment District Manager Jim Drummond said the impact on the environment was minimal.
It would go off as a gas rather than cause any groundwater problems.
Still, fire crews were on the scene for much of the day. It was one of those fires where the mop-up was more work than the flames. Margaret O'Sullivan, CBC News, Windsor.